Welcome to Our Daily Chews, your go-to podcast for all things nutrition. I'm Lynn Clayton, a registered dietitian nutritionist and your host. I help you sort fact from fiction with a research-based and common sense approach to nutrition science. Today's episode continues our discussion about sugar substitutes. In episode 12, we explored artificial sweeteners approved by the FDA for use in our food supply. Today, we're focusing on natural sweeteners. From the tried and true classics like honey and maple syrup to the trendy no-calorie newcomers like stevia and monk fruit to the low-calorie sugar alcohols, we'll uncover the sweetness behind these alternatives to traditional table sugar. Let's start with the big players in the world of natural sweeteners, sugar alcohols. Although technically neither sugar nor alcohol, these low-calorie sweeteners are derived from sugars but have a hydroxyl group attached to their carbon atoms, for those that enjoy a little chemistry. Sugar alcohols occur naturally in small amounts in some fruits and vegetables, and they can also be man-made. They are a type of carbohydrate known as a polyol. The benefits of sugar alcohols are many. They provide only about half the calories as sugar, making them helpful for managing weight. They are not metabolized the same way, so they do not have the same effect on blood sugar levels, making them good for people with diabetes. And some hold up well to heat and can be used in baking. And they also do not promote tooth decay. And depending on your point of view, most sugar alcohols don't taste as sweet as sugar. In contrast to the artificial sweeteners that are 200 to 20,000 times sweeter than sucrose, sugar alcohols may be beneficial in providing sweet flavor without overstimulating our taste buds. That can be super helpful since exposure to sweets can make us crave more sweets, not good for our waistline. But before we get too excited, there's always two sides of a coin. The downside of sugar alcohols is that most are not as sweet as sugar, with the exception of xylitol and maltitol, and some people may feel they need to add more to get the same sweet taste. Along with the sweetness, sugar alcohols can also have a cool or minty taste, making them popular in sugar-free candy, gum, or even toothpaste. Because sugar alcohols are digested more slowly, they stay in the gut longer, which allows more time for bacteria to feed on them, which can lead to fermentation and produce excess gas. They also tend to pull extra water into the colon, causing a laxative effect. Too much sugar alcohol equals gas, bloating, and diarrhea. So just as with sugar, don't overdo the sugar alcohols. There's also research being done on the impact sugar alcohols may have on gut bacteria, so more research is needed in that area. So let's look at 7 sugar alcohols that have been approved for use in the U.S. by the FDA. And these include erythritol, lactitol, maltitol, mannitol, sorbitol, xylitol, and isomalt. Generally speaking, if you see a food ingredient ending in OL, it's probably a sugar alcohol. They are commonly found in sugar-free gum, candies, and baked goods, usually marketed as low-calorie, no sugar added, or diabetic-friendly. Let's look at each a little closer. One sugar alcohol that has gained in popularity recently is erythritol. It occurs naturally with the fermentation of fructose, or fruit sugar, and is found in extremely low levels in various fruits such as grapes, melon, and pears, and in fermented foods like cheese and soy sauce. Our red blood cells also naturally make very low levels of erythritol. It has a sweetness factor similar to table sugar with a refreshing cooling effect. It's touted as being tooth-friendly, so it's popular in sugar-free candies and gum. It's also said to have the added benefit of being better tolerated than other sugar alcohols since it may cause less gastrointestinal discomfort. Some cautions and concerns, however, have popped up. In erythritol, when used as a food additive, is at concentrations at least 1,000 times the natural levels found in food or our bodies. In recent decades, some concerning research has been published about possible adverse health effects of erythritol. An American study from 2001 found that people who used erythritol as a sweetener had a 3-year increased risk of major cardiac events like heart attack or stroke. A 2021 study examined people who consumed erythritol or a similar sugar alcohol, xylitol, and the results found that ingesting erythritol as a sugar substitute caused a spike in blood levels and increased the stickiness of platelets. Platelets help blood to clot if we cut ourselves, but if platelets are sticky, the risk of blood clots in the body increases, creating a greater risk of heart attack or stroke. The authors concluded, and I quote, "Our findings reveal that erythritol is both associated with incident major adverse cardiovascular event risk and fosters enhanced thrombosis, or blood clots. Studies assessing the long-term safety of erythritol are warranted." End of quote. In an article published February 2024 in Diabetes, the ADA journal, the authors stated, I quote, "We did not find supportive evidence that erythritol increases cardiometabolic disease. These findings await confirmation in well-designed prospective studies." So, to summarize, while there seems to be an association between erythritol and cardiovascular events, there is no proof that erythritol increases the risk for cardiovascular issues directly. But the results of these studies indicate it may be best to limit its use until we have more evidence to prove safety. More research will be needed to determine any increased risk of using sugar alcohols. Lactitol is a disaccharide sugar alcohol produced from lactose, also known as milk sugar. It is used as a replacement bulk sweetener for low-calorie foods with about 30 to 40% of the sweetness of sucrose. High stability makes it popular for baking. It is used in sugar-free candies, cookies, chocolate, and ice cream. It acts as a prebiotic in the colon and is poorly absorbed, and it is used medically as a laxative. Maltitol is a disaccharide produced by hydrogenation of maltose obtained from starch. It has 75 to 90% of the sweetness of sucrose or table sugar and nearly identical properties, except it doesn't brown as well as sugar. And it is also used medically as a laxative. Mannitol is 50 to 70% as sweet as sugar. Naturally, it occurs in carrots, olives, and asparagus. Mannitol can be derived from a sugar called mannose by reduction through fermentation. Mannitol is an isomer of another sugar alcohol, sorbitol, meaning the only difference between the two is the orientation of the hydroxyl group on carbon 2, chemically speaking. Food manufacturers can make mannitol by isolating it from seaweed, and it has several medical uses, including use as a diuretic. Sorbitol, which can be obtained by the reduction of glucose, less commonly known as glucotol, is found in nature, for example, in apples, pears, peaches, and prunes. Most sorbitol, however, is synthesized from potato starch. It's an isomer of mannitol, as we just mentioned, and it's used as a sweetener and as a laxative. Xylitol occurs naturally in small amounts in plums, strawberries, cauliflower, and pumpkin. Humans and many other animals make trace amounts during metabolism of carbohydrates. It's seen in sugar-free gum, candies, toothpaste, and nasal spray. Xylitol has the same sweet taste as sugar and is stable enough to use in baking. But unlike other sugar alcohols, xylitol is toxic to dogs. So don't share it with your furry friend and keep candies or gums with xylitol away from your pet. Isomalt is a sugar substitute derived from a mixture of two disaccharide alcohols, which are made up of a combination of glucose and mannitol and glucose and sorbitol. Isomalt is widely used in the production of sugar-free candy, especially hard-boiled candy, because it resists crystallization much better than the standard combinations of sucrose and corn syrup. It is used in sugar sculpture for the same reason, and it has been approved for use in the U.S. since 1990. While I could do an entire podcast just on sugar alcohols, I wanted to briefly mention a few other sugar substitutes. We have allulose. This is another sugar alternative finding favor that you may see on your food label. This monosaccharide, or a simple sugar, is naturally present in small amounts in figs, maple syrup, molasses, raisins, and wheat. But it can also be commercially produced from beet sugar or corn. It's about 70% as sweet as sucrose, but contains only a fraction of the calories. Interestingly, it has the same chemical structure as fructose, only differing in how the atoms are arranged. This structural difference means allulose is metabolized differently than sugar, providing the same sweet taste, but for a tenth of the calories. It doesn't raise blood sugar levels or promote tooth decay. As an added bonus, it doesn't seem to cause digestive issues like gas, bloating, and diarrhea that sugar alcohol sometimes can cause. Allulose is more expensive, but you may see it popping up in more food products. The FDA recognizes allulose as safe. However, it has not been approved yet for use in Canada or Europe. So far, no adverse effects have been reported with using allulose in small quantities. More research is needed for specific recommendations and to confirm long-term safety. Now, let's not forget about the natural, non sugar, non calorie sweeteners making waves in the health food aisle: stevia and monk fruit. Stevia is a flowering plant in the aster family known for its sweet tasting leaves. Like sugar alcohols, it offers sweetness without the calories and has minimal impact on blood sugar levels. Stevia comes in various forms, including liquid drops and powdered extracts, making it a convenient addition to your favorite recipes. But if you're going to substitute stevia in baking, you need to know the conversion rate. Stevia can be more than 300 times sweeter than sugar. Just a few teaspoons of stevia are equivalent to a cup of sugar. The amount needed varies depending on the form of stevia you're using, whether it's liquid or powder. So just consult the manufacturer's conversion chart to guide you. If you add too much stevia, you will get a bitter taste in your baked goods. That's why stevia is sometimes paired with other sweeteners like honey, fruit juice, or corn syrup to improve the taste. And it is rather stable up to about 390 degrees Fahrenheit. But don't expect stevia to caramelize like sugar. And as a caution with stevia, keep in mind that if you suffer from allergies, ragweed is in the same family of plants as stevia, so if you are allergic to ragweed, you may also have a reaction to stevia. Monk fruit, also known as luhanguo, is a small green melon native to Southeast Asia. It's named after the monks who first cultivated it centuries ago. It's prized for its intense sweetness without the bitter aftertaste of some artificial sweeteners. The health benefits of the fruit are well known and have been touted in traditional Chinese medicine for hundreds of years. It contains antioxidants and is said to have anti-inflammatory properties. But this sweet little fruit has only recently made it to the mainstream. Monk fruit sweetener is made from the extract derived from dried fruit. Like other non-sugar sweeteners, the extract is 150 to 250 times sweeter than table sugar. It has 0 calories, is carb-free, and does not raise blood glucose levels. There are no reported side effects, and it is recognized by the FDA as generally safe for everyone, including pregnant women and children. It's also heat stable, making it appropriate for use in baking. Now, before we get too excited about monk fruit, let me share some negatives. Monk fruit is more expensive and less available than other sweeteners. Some people may not care for the taste of monk fruit, which is a personal preference. And although rare, there's always the possibility of allergic reactions. Monk fruit is classified in the gourd family, which includes pumpkin, squash, cucumbers, and melon. So if you are allergic to any of these, you may be more likely to experience a reaction to monk fruit. And since monk fruit is a relative newcomer to the market, research investigating the safety of long-term use is lacking. As with all sweeteners, it's best to enjoy wisely and limit your amount. But what about the classics? Honey, maple syrup, molasses, coconut sugar, and date sugar. They've been sweetening things up long before sugar alcohols and exotic fruits came into the picture. Each brings its own unique flavor profile and nutritional benefits to the table. These are less processed than traditional table sugar and contain small amounts of nutrients like fiber and antioxidants. While they still contribute calories just like regular sugar, they offer a slightly lower glycemic index, which means they won't cause blood sugar levels to spike as dramatically, although they do still cause a rise in blood sugar. Let's look at our natural sugars more closely. Honey, a staple in many cultures, varies in taste depending on the flowers the bees visit. It not only sweetens, but also offers antimicrobial properties and potential allergy relief when locally sourced. Let's not overlook the potential health benefits. It contains antioxidants and has been used for centuries as a natural remedy for various ailments. One tablespoon provides about 64 calories and 17 grams of carbs or sugar. Maple syrup, harvested from the sap of maple trees, boasts a rich, earthy sweetness. With its rich amber hue and robust flavor, it's like pouring happiness when drizzled over pancakes on a crisp autumn morning. Plus, it's packed with minerals like manganese and zinc, giving it a nutritional edge over plain old sugar. Just be sure not to overdo it. One tablespoon of maple syrup has 52 calories and 13 grams of sugar. Molasses, a byproduct of sugarcane or sugar beet processing, is rich in iron and other minerals, lending a deep caramel flavor to baked goods. One tablespoon of molasses has about 58 calories, all of which come from sugar, or about 15 grams of sugar. But this varies depending on the type. There's light, dark, or blackstrap molasses. If you don't have molasses on hand, you can get a similar taste by using brown sugar, which is a combination of granulated sugar and molasses. Use 3/4 cup of brown sugar and 1/4 cup of water instead of molasses in your recipes. Coconut sugar, derived from the sap of coconut palm trees, has a subtle caramel flavor that adds depth to baked goods and beverages. It also boasts a lower glycemic index than table sugar, making it a favorite among health conscious sweet tooths. One tablespoon of coconut sugar has 45 calories and 12 grams of sugar. And lastly, date sugar, made from dried dates, adds a fruity sweetness. Not only is it a natural sweetener, but it's also packed with fiber and essential nutrients like potassium and magnesium. One tablespoon of date sugar provides about 30 calories and 7 grams of carbs or sugar. If you prefer liquid sweeteners, check out date syrup. One tablespoon provides 54 calories and about 13 grams of sugar. So, in conclusion, with all these sweet options, there are pros and cons to consider. While natural sweeteners often contain more nutrients than refined sugar, they can still contribute to excess calorie intake if consumed in large quantities. Some individuals may also experience digestive discomfort with certain sugar alcohols, so it's wise to listen to your body and adjust accordingly. As with anything in life, moderation is key when it comes to sweeteners. While natural sweeteners offer a tantalizing array of flavors and health benefits, overindulgence can still lead to issues like tooth decay and weight gain. So, whether you're sweetening your morning coffee or whipping up a batch of cookies, choose wisely and savor the sweetness in every bite. This podcast is sponsored by Clayton Nutrition, a private medical nutrition therapy practice offering telehealth services for those needing nutrition therapy to prevent, treat, or manage chronic health issues. Whether it's diabetes, cardiovascular concerns, food allergies, digestive issues, or weight management, we focus on good nutrition for better health. Check out my resources, blog articles, and one-to-one nutrition services at claytonnutrition.com. And Clayton Nutrition is offering Better Diabetes Control, a 6-video module course covering everything you need to know about managing diabetes. This online course helps provide answers to your questions about controlling diabetes, and it includes a booklet and resources to guide you. Through the end of April, Better Diabetes Control is available at half off the regular price. Just go to claytonnutrition.com/nutrition-courses to learn more and sign up to get started. Clayton Nutrition also offers an online course for weight management. This 8-video module called A Better Way to Better Health is packed with resources to help you along your weight loss journey. Check it out at claytonnutrition.com/nutrition-courses for more information and to sign up. This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not intended to replace the advice of your healthcare professional. I recommend you seek help from a trained professional who can work with you in your specific situation.